Yo, this is a review for the BLENDJET 2 portable blender. What I've got on camera is the mint colorway as they call it, although to me it looks more like it has a twinge of blue. You can find this carried in stores and online by many retailers, including but not limited to BLENDJET.com, Target, Best Buy, CVS, etc. I'll drop the link to BLENDJET's website in the description. This is a 16-ounce or 457-milliliter leak-proof portable blender. The lid comes with a carrying strap and the glass body features an array of volume markers. The 6-point blade is stainless steel, runs on a USB-C rechargeable battery, and operates using only a single button. The construction is completely BPA-free and runs quietly. It's targeted for use with smoothies, protein shakes, mixed drinks, baby food, milkshake sauces, and dressings. They boldly claim this blender will power through anything in 20 seconds flat, and that a full charge lasts for at least 15 blends. The charging port is water resistant, and the charging cable is included. Although designed in California, this product is made in China. Okay, so should you buy? Honestly, I'm not sure. I think this entirely comes down to a matter of practicality versus vibes. I feel like I still need to convince myself one way or another, so let's run through this video together. First, let me offer some more details. You take this thing out of the box and you find it's composed of 3 pieces. There's the electronic base with the charging port, button, and blade. The charging port is nothing special, just a regular USB-C. The single button design is actually super interesting because there is a lot of functionality built into this blender. If you just press the button once, you'll initiate a 20-second blend cycle that you can also kill by pressing the button again. But if you'd prefer to pulse the blade, you can double tap the button to change modes and then hold the button when you want to blend. Finally, when you're drinking or transporting the blender, you can hold the button until you get a special indicator. The circular light surrounding the button is fairly comprehensive and features 3 different colors and a few different patterns that coincide with whatever mode you're in. I think it's a pretty cool design. The glass container piece screws onto the base, and the fact that it's separable is both convenient and sensible considering you'll want to be careful not to get water on the charging port when washing. It is water resistant, but still. It feels like good quality glass to me, also with a bit of thickness to it. If I didn't know better, I would say it was double paned for insulation, but that could just be an optical illusion due to the thickness. What do I know? There is an arrow on the glass that lines up with an arrow on the base, as well as a piece of metal or magnet of some sort. This must be related to the locking and safety features of the blender aimed at keeping you from running the blade without the glass attached. It also means the glass will only fit exactly one way. I can confirm it's a good watertight seal on the base. The lid screws on in the same way with a good seal, but doesn't have any safety sensing features as far as I can tell. The lid also features a carrying handle loop with a finish that's matte to the touch, something I'm definitely a fan of. I think the blender's pretty quiet as far as blenders go. It's definitely much quieter than my Ninja blender. But there's a direct relationship with power there. This definitely doesn't pack the same punch as a real blender, and it also features a much smaller blade. This leads me to the first major issue: the container aspect ratio in relation to the size and position of the blade. Plainly put, the blade is very small and only accessible to a small surface within the container, meaning it's much harder to effectively blend thicker mixtures. I tried to blend some ice as an extreme example, and I immediately ran into problems. I crammed it as full as I could and almost laughed out loud when the blades failed to turn on during my first ever attempt. The ice was too rigid for the blades to break apart from a cold start. There is actually a workaround for this described on the info card included in the box. Basically, anytime you can't get the blades to run, you turn the whole blender upside down, start the blades, and then flip it back so the contents hit the blades at full speed. Interestingly enough, it actually works. Although I haven't made up my mind about whether this is quirky or cheap. Once I got the hard-ass stuff out of the way, I decided to slice up a grapefruit and give it a whirl. I actually saw this on TikTok or Instagram way before I picked up this blender for myself. Somebody was really walking around with their blender full of nothing but orange slices, and they turbo blasted it into fresh juice. I had very little faith this was actually going to produce anything enjoyable. Most people don't realize how heavily pasteurized regular store-bought juice is and just how fibrous and pulpy smashed fruit is. However, I found that in this case, the grapefruit juice actually turned out edible. I think the key is making sure you have a very ripe fruit if you plan on doing this. The BLENDJET did an okay job, although I noticed I had to repeatedly shake things around to get the upper contents to filter downwards towards the blades. This isn't terribly annoying because it's already a handheld blender I was able to use with one hand and presumably on the go. But I do think it's worth noting this was definitely more work than advertised. On top of all of that, I let the little guy run for a solid 40 seconds or more before I felt like I was satisfied with the blend. And that is absolutely far beyond the advertised 20 seconds. Also disappointing is the fact that when all is said and done, I don't even have 16 ounces worth of contents. Sure, I filled the container to the brim with fruit, but after the fact, the final volume is closer to 8 ounces. I find it really hard to believe the BLENDJET will perform if I absolutely smash it full of 16 ounces of foodstuffs. Now, I realize that an important element of any smoothie or drink is adding enough liquid to get a good beverage consistency. And I do think it might have run smoother if I had added some water or juice as a lubricant, but I wanted to run a conservative experiment for the video. I actually added some ice to the mix after the fact just because I thought it might be more enjoyable to drink, which it was, but that of course defeats the entire purpose of the blender. The point is to take everything on the go with you. Unless you're absolutely sure there's going to be free ice wherever you're going, I don't see it working out on a regular basis. And that leads me to my biggest qualm, the overarching problem I see with the BLENDJET. Why does anyone need this? The short answer is I don't think anyone does. Specifically, why does anyone need to perform their blending on location at the moment they want to drink their smoothie? How is that better than blending your smoothie at home and taking it in a to-go cup? Either way, you're carrying a drink around. The only difference is that with the BLENDJET, you actually carry extra weight because you have an entire blender with you. And again, because the container size and shape better lends itself to adding ingredients as you go, you might need to access extra ice or water before you can blend. And I must point out that if you have access to ice, you probably have access to a fridge anyways, so you could have just brought your blended drink from home and stored it until you were ready. I'm struggling to see the utility here. The only reason I can see to buy this is good old-fashioned aesthetics. It looks cool. It looks trendy. I'm sure it will turn a few heads and garner a few laughs. Some people might even think they want one for themselves. It's good eye candy. The colors pop and the single button programming is well done. This might make a good Christmas gift, especially if you're giving a gift to a stranger in a Secret Santa or something and just want to pique their interest. This feels like the type of gadget you might find at Brookstone in the mall. Do people still know about Brookstone, or am I just dating myself? Anyway, it would fit in a Brookstone because of its novelty, but nobody should really be buying it. It's more of a toy than anything. And I think that's a great place to end the video. If you want a practical blender, you should absolutely pass on the BLENDJET or any number of spin-off product lines. If you're looking for a fun toy, go ahead and pick one up. I dropped the link below if you're interested. Like and comment with any questions. I'm more than happy to help, and I'm sure I missed something. Please let me know if I can improve these videos in any way. If you'd like to support the channel, you should of course subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000. But if you'd like to go above and beyond, you can buy me a coffee using the link in the description. I appreciate every one of you. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day.
Tell me it's good, tell me it's gold, tell me you like breaking the mold. Tell me it's good, tell me it's gold, tell me you like breaking the mold. Drawn on a canvas, making us an atlas. If you wanna tap in, we can find Atlantis. Hopping on my